We move on away from that. In the meantime, a total of 11 governors from the People's Democratic Party have approached the Supreme Court challenging President Bola Tinubu's powers to suspend a democratically elected structure of a state. Now, the governors are asking the Supreme Court to determine whether the president has the constitutional authority to suspend a democratically elected state structure. They are also questioning whether the manner in which President Tinubu declared the state of emergency in Rivers State violates the 1999 Constitution. The plaintiffs in this case include the governors of Adamawa, Enugu, Osun, Oyo, Bauchi, Akwa Ibom, Plateau, Delta, Taraba, Zamfara, and Bayelsa states. Joining us to unpack the development in Rivers State is Victor Atewe, a political strategist based in Abuja. Thank you so much for joining us, Victor.
Thank you so very much for having me, and a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. All right, so Victor, now the sole administrator has appointed local government administrators, despite a court order saying that he shouldn't. Are you surprised? Are you worried? How do you feel about this?
To be honest, I feel very sad. It's really a sad day and a sad one for democracy in our country, seeing to the fact that illegality, that's been played out at the high level of impunity, you see playing at the highest level of governance. And, of course, a lot of legal minds and, of course, legal institutions has criticized the state of emergency and, of course, had called that the president, does not have the jurisdiction, so to say, or the local standing to unlawfully declare a state of emergency and remove a democratic elected governor, but having to put in an administrator where we don't have the provision for in our constitution, and seeing the level of impunity being played by the so-called administrator, electing, or let's say appointing other administrator under what law, under what provision, or what power does the administrator so have to appoint administrators in the 23 local governments across Rivers State, and a lot of reconstituting of boards and dissolving and all that. So it's really a sad day. I'm really worried, and this goes to show that our democracy, or so-called, or this democracy we so practice, is in dire need of help, and this is not a good way to start or a good way to go. Even though a lot of people will want to give into what happened during the former President Obasanjo, that shouldn't be the yardstick for our growing democracy, because we always come out to say our democracy is growing, and we must be seen to practice true democracy, not the one that is, to me, I'll say, a totalitarian style of governance.
All right, Victor, now speaking of practicing, practicing true democracy, Victor, this latest, step that the sole administrator took, where does it leave the conversation on peace building in Rivers State? Because so far, it doesn't look like there's a crisis to resolve, and there is politicking to do.
Well, if I'm to get you right, I think what it would leave, I think the people of Rivers State are just watching the how the event unfolds, and of course you see that the state has been captured. Seriously, they've been captured, and I'm just wondering what the stakeholders in the state, what they're saying, or how they perceive the whole thing to be. But for me, I think it's all political motivated. Of course, there's a strong will and a strong power behind the sole administrator. So that's why it's just doing things up constitutionally and damn the consequences. So I think it's going to leave the state in a very worrisome. And I believe that it's high time that the major stakeholders in Rivers State need to come up and speak up. And I really commend the PDP governors for what they've done on challenging the suspension of an elected governor of a state, to the Supreme Court. I really commend them for that. I think they need to be more, they need to intensify that pressure, because we can't set this back precedent. It's not good for our democracy, and it's going to, it's not pointing us in a good light in the international community. So I think it's going to leave the state in a very state of disarray, and it's going to leave them wondering what power constitution is he operating from? So that's it for me.
All right, well, Victor, so far we've seen the sole administrator appoint local government administrators and also appointed, a new head for the State Independent Electoral Commission. And obviously it won't be long until fresh local government elections are held. What are your thoughts on this? Will this be appropriate?
I won't be surprised if he conducts, if he tends to go ahead to conduct, because given to all this appointing of state local government administrator and a new head, in the state electoral board, I mean, this is really unconstitutional. One can only wonder where is he getting his constitutional power to carry out such responsibility or such appointment. I'll leave that to the legal minds to contend with. But speaking from from the public view, I really think I won't be surprised to see him conduct the local government election, which is fast approaching, and that you will know that you can read the handwriting of the one where it's going to tilt to us. So, but I think it's not a good call for River State, and I think well-meaningful Nigerians, this is our time. We need to cry out and stand against what the impunity that is happening in our democratic system.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on this, Victor. We appreciate you for your time.